sorry if you're going to find me this evening. I got the horrible feeling I'm in the wrong room. It just said something about a different event is scheduled. Bit of a scramble here this evening. My apologies. Maybe, darling Jane, I know that you're there. Am I in the right room, or do I have to come out and go in again? Could you let me know, dear? I'd really appreciate it, because I've still got a couple of minutes if I do need to re-find. Could you let me know, Jane? Just to let me know if, let me just check. Am I live with you? With you? Is anybody here? Or do I have to? Very difficult. I don't know. Sound is fine, so you can see me. Good. Okay, Jane. The only reason I say that is because there was a weird sign that said a different event was scheduled, so I may have come in on the wrong portal. My apologies if anybody's not finding me. But there you go. Such is life. I'm at this door. I'm at the back door. Come on in. Good evening. Well, some friends have already found us, so that's great. I've been scrambling, I'm afraid. Typical. I've been working on a mammoth task today, and you know what it's like when you're really in it. Well, I was really in it, and then suddenly I thought, oh no, it's SHAC, and so it's been a bit of a scramble. I'll tell you what it is that I'm doing. You know, we've got the open days next Friday and Saturday, so on the Sunday I've got a workshop. So does Linda Williams, and so at my workshop I decided to do things differently this time. And then I decided that instead of the project sheets that we usually do, I was going to write a little booklet, because it's more of a process thing than individual projects. So I thought, let's make a little book. Well, so I've written a little book today, started early this morning, and wrote a little book. And it's come out really nicely. And then, as if that wasn't enough, I then decided I ought to do a quick couple of little projects with the new stamps that I've had made for said workshop. So then I came up here, and then I started making little cards, which came out lovely, really lovely. Shall I show you? Let me show you. Got to show you. Right, where are they? Okay, this is really cute. Okay. I know. These are really nice. See? So the idea is that we're going to make these backgrounds, and then we're going to decorate them. So this is the kind of thing that we're going to be doing in the workshop, which I think is rather lovely. Yeah. And we've had a set of stamps. I took all my favourite stamps, and I put them all into one little set for the workshop. Nice, huh? I know. So then, point being, obsessive, not much. I decided with 20 minutes to spare, of course I could make a couple of cards. Yeah. So exactly, then. Typical Barbara, that is. So there we are. Anyway, come on in. It was, you know that, do you have days like that where you've ticked all the boxes? I did. And before I even came downstairs, I changed all the bedding, because I've got Gracie coming next week. So she's going to be in the country, because she's coming over for the open days. So I thought, oh, bloody hell, I better make the beds. so stripped all the beds, made all the beds. And then I thought, cool, you could write your name everywhere up here. So then I had to dust everything. So I've been like the white tornado upstairs today. That was before I even came downstairs. And then I made a plan. And this booklet, it was a little bit of a headache to begin with. You know, like you know what you want, but it's not quite gelling. And I kept thinking it will come together. It will. And then about 2 hours in, it just started to open up, which was great. So that's really super. And this evening, dear girls and boys, we're going to be doing our inking, aren't we? So a bit of a scramble here. Bit of a scramble. Haven't really done a lot of prep, but I know you don't mind. I know you don't mind. Yesterday was a really busy day for me and for a load of you, because you were also in that workshop, weren't you? With the 1, 2, 3 course. Didn't that go well? I know. It was really good. And it went on forever. I know it's only supposed, originally those 1, 2, 3 courses supposed to be 2 hours, and then they've ended up at like 3 hours and 3.5 hours. But hey, value for money and all that. Because the thing is with the courses, with the online courses, if you can't join in on the live, then I filmed it anyway, and so has Louise and Paul. They were filming the white work one today, so it's quite a big job. It's a big job, and yeah, so I'm really glad that they're being so well received, because it is a lot of work. But it is the way forward. I honestly believe that. These online courses and tutorials, I think, are the way forward. This is great. Of course it is. And I would never, ever give up the SHAC unless I was really, really ill. I give up paid online workshops before I gave up the SHAC. That's a fact. But the thing is that the SHAC doesn't pay the bills, and so these online courses are marvelous, because it means that we can get together and we can, it's still very community based, and it's very tutorial based, and it kind of replaces the exhibitions, which we stopped doing. Yeah. But next week we do have the exhibition. Of course, we've got the open days, and I know that quite a few people have now signed up, so that'll be great. And we're all pedaling like crazy to get it ready. And there's so much involved, in planning a big event like that. So I'm thinking it's going to be great again. And then, of course, I've got my pottery, so I'm trying to sort that out as well. I didn't do any pottery today. Yeah, I don't know, maybe. And this is why I never have business cards for the pottery, because it always ends up a scramble at the end, and then that last little finishing touch isn't done. That box isn't ticked. I'll give it a go. I'll try. It would be nice to have a little card that says, "This is who made it. Thank you for purchasing." Oh well, we're working hard. And on the subject of online courses, I've got another one lined up. I pitched it yesterday in the online course, because I thought, well, those people that are already in that inner circle, they're embracing the online courses. So I thought, well, who better to talk to about it? So I'll just tell you about this one, and then we'll crack on with our inking. Otherwise, I'm going to forget. So the next online workshop, instead of a 3-week session, which is a lot, it's a lot for me, but it's also a lot for you, to rock up 3 Wednesdays on the trot is quite a lot, even though you can, of course, come in any time. The live sessions are 1 Wednesday after another, so that's quite a lot, really. It's a lot to expect from you too. So I thought, well, why don't we just do one really good afternoon, like 3 hours, 4 hours, just go for it, and then that's it, done. So a lot of you bought, those landscape dies that we launched at the beginning of this month. Well, a lot of you bought them, and I was thinking that a lot of you also did the online courses with me when we did the mechanical cutting of those landscapes, and we cut it all out by hand, and it was like last October or December. Do you remember? And it was a lighthouse and the viaduct. But we didn't actually do the cottage online. We did the cottage in the workshop. So I thought, why don't I do a workshop using the die and the cottage? That way, we're killing two birds with one stone. We're learning the new process, which is different with the dies than with the mechanical paper piecing. It's really good, actually. So I thought, if we get together for a whole afternoon, what did I say? From 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock, okay, then we could easily cover the new process, how I think it works. There's a booklet as well, and then I know there's a booklet and you can follow the instructions in the booklet, but I think there's a big difference between that and doing it together. And then I can show you how to use a single piece of designer paper and create different fields. We could go through the felt and I'll show you how to do that. So it'll be a real hands-on get together. And even though we're using the, we'll be using the cottage die. Okay, we'll be using the cottage die. The other ones are going to be used exactly the same, aren't they? So there you go. It's Wednesday again. Wednesday afternoons, I think, are a good time. So it's Wednesday, the 25th of June, and it's 1 o'clock till 5 o'clock. So it's a 4-hour session. So it's pretty much the same as the big, when we got together on the Saturdays and did the big paper piecing job, except we're going to use the dies, which will be faster and we can get more other things covered. So if you'd like to support and join in on that particular day, then I know that Paul has already posted the workshop on our website, and the number, if you're looking for the product code, is 60224. There you go, 60224. So that's the workshop that I'm going to be hosting on Wednesday afternoon on the 25th of June. Good. There you go. That's what I wanted to say. And the ingredients list will all be on the website. Okay, so we'll make sure that you know what you need. You don't need much, but you do need the dies, or a die, one die. And it's not in the fee. It's not in the price. The fee is just for the tuition. Okay. And the filmed version and the keys to the castle forever. So that means that you pay that fee and you can go in and watch that time and time again. Okay, I think that's quite good. Have I missed something? You look so sad, Barbara. Do I? No, I haven't got any makeup on. I'm not sad at all. Oh no, I'm happy, but I haven't got any makeup on. It was either get here on time without makeup or be 5 minutes late with makeup. And my priorities, my vanity is not that extreme. Having said that, now I wish you think I look sad. No, I don't look sad. I just look old. All right, hang on a minute. Right. Anyway, let's get on with some artwork. Then you don't have to look at me. You can look at the artwork. Now, we are inking. So do you remember we're on the letter W, and we've done loads of little tiny 3.5 by 3.5, haven't we? So we did the shack, the washing line. We did the washing line. We did the wonky house, the picket fence, the tree. Where's the tree gone? Where's my favourite tree? We did a good tree. Oh, I've got so many of these bits of paper everywhere now. I've got a tree with a wheelbarrow. I've lost one of my trees. Oh no. No, I haven't. There it is. I knew I had a better tree than that. Good. So I've got a rubber if I need it. I've got an inking machine called a Micron pen. There you go. How's that? Sorry, I was just reading. Your comments. Thank you, Susan. I agree. I agree. I think that online courses and getting together are really great. I spend a lot of money on tutorials myself, with mixed media artists and printmakers and potters. You know, that's how I learn. And yeah, I can go on YouTube and I can get free tutorials, but it's not the same. It's not the same. When you pay, you get a different depth of knowledge, I find. Although I've never kind of I've never been conscious of doing that myself. You know, I just tell you anything I know, but whether I'm getting paid for it or not. But I do notice myself that it seems to be a different level when you're a fee payer. Right. So let's have a look. We're going to go with that washing line. So put your pieces together. Decide which bits you're going to pen. See, I think that's just perfect. Or do I prefer the one with a watering can? Possibly I do. Do you know what was really lovely the other day? Now I showed you my washing line with the texture paste through it on Monday. Several people bought that texture paste and the stencil to do that job. I know. I love that. I love that. And I still haven't put the blog to the front yet. See if I can remember that tonight. Got a lot going on at the moment, friends. Right, so let's start. The first one we're going to do, let's start with the easy one. The SHAC Way marker. I've already done it once. So this is what we're going to do now. Okay, let's come in tight and let's just start inking up. We're going to make these little pictures now. They're going to be really, really, should we go a bit tighter? Okay. Right, you need a bit of scrap, and as I've said before, you really ought to use the same type of card to test as you're using for, yeah? Now, where are my Dame Ednas? Well, of course they're in the car because yesterday evening, this is so bad. Yes, this is why my masks shrink, because they're in the back of the car again. Yesterday evening when I got home, I was so cream crackered. I literally just roll out of the car because it's quite low to the ground. And then I just walk in the house. It's like, done. Like too tired to speak even, you know, that tired. And so, and the stuff, and then of course this morning, did I think to go and get the stuff out of the car? No. So I know where my Dame Ednas are. But I've got these ones and they're really strong. So let's have a look. I want to know what I'm doing. Cool, they're strong. Right. Cool, they are strong. I've got to get my head on the table here to see. Right, you ready? And we start inking. Now, what I was going to suggest, what am I using? 01. We good with that, Jane? 01 micron pens. We sell these. Let me show you. You get a pack of 7 of them. Okay. 01 is the second one. You get 005, which is really thin. Then 1. Then it goes 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4, 5, and then it goes up to 8. They're very, very good. But I'm going to stick, because it's quite a small picture, I'm going to stick with the 1. The 1 and 005. If I've got a 00, I can't see a thing with them on. See if I've got a 005. There's a couple of 005s. There you go. 005. Okay. Are you ready, friends? Are we going to give this a go? Hey, I feel terrible now. I look sad. I'm not sad. I'm really not sad. I'm really feeling very accomplished today and happy because I got done what I got done. Grace is coming home next week. The bed is made ready for her. Her little bird, her little raccoon bird is sitting by her bed. Mark, my son, he just called, but the phone's set to silence. I'll have to ring him afterwards. I'm very lucky, you know. My brother called this afternoon. and said, I'll be over on Sunday to sort your garden out. Isn't that kind? Yeah, which was very kind. So, because Dave's still struggling. And all in all, life is good, you know. It is. Got to enjoy it, because this too shall pass. Everything does, the good and the bad. So let's have a look. I'm going to put on my specs, and then we're going to go. Now, when I say where we're going to ink, you've got choices. You can either make it really cartoony by going slowly and thickly, or you can go sketchy. When you go sketchy, which I think is going to look better with this, you kind of go over more than once. You sketch as you go down. So let's have a go. Let's see how we get on. I'm going to start up there, right? And then we're just going to come down and follow that line. See, and if it's not perfect, it doesn't matter. Go back again. And we'll go over there, and then we'll come back down. And we won't worry too much if it's not perfect, you see? Because we're going to sketch it. And I'll bring this across there. There's a little bit underneath. And you'll find that if you go fast, if you go slowly, you'll get all the ink. If you go fast, I'll show you. If you go slowly, it works perfectly. If you go fast, if you go fast and on the side, then it doesn't work so well. So if you don't hold it upright like that, you'll catch the edge of the metal on the side, and you'll find it's a bit sketchier. It's up to you, whatever you fancy. Right, so the thing is, what you got to remember is this is permanent ink. You know, you can't rub this out. Once this is in, this is in. Okay, so make sure that you know you like what you're doing. Right, now what have we got here? Okay, a little bit of shading. I just put a little tiny bit of shading on the wood. Yeah, just there. And then we're going to do some weeds. Right, weeds. So I'm just going to go up like wisps, like that, like grasses. Just do that. There you go. Weeds. And then at the top of the weeds, do some dots. We've got plenty of this in the garden. Haven't you? What was the weather like where you are today? It was not. I think it was nice. Do you know, I didn't pay attention. I was so focused. Needs doing though. You know, when you're working against the deadline, you can't leave it, because it's not just about me writing it. You know, it's got to be printed. I've got to get it written. I've got to get the photographs done. I'll do that tomorrow. I've got to get them all planted. I've got to tart it all up, make it look beautiful, correct it, edit it, make sure the spelling's right, then get it to print. That means go downstairs to Lisa. Bank holiday Monday, which means we lose a day. Tuesday I'm on telly at Hobby Maker, so it has to be done by mañana, which is tomorrow. Yeah, it's okay. And that's why I'm focused. Be good though, you watch. Teamwork makes the dream work. I just have to my workshop, I've got to give them the meat and 2 veg. They don't know what to do if I don't tell them what's being served. And therefore, today's been a scramble. But that's okay. Right, come on, inking. So that's why I knew that there was a sense of urgency around it. You know, I did. And I woke up with that sort of zing, like, today has to happen. There. Fabulous. Right, that'll do. Oh, I've got the wrong glasses on. Do you know what I'm looking forward to? I'm looking forward to seeing there's some people I really, you know, like you only ever see them once a year or twice a year when you're at the open days. I'm really looking forward to that, and I'm looking forward to the workshop, because usually it's not always the same people, but I definitely have a group. There's an inner, like a group, and I won't say it's a clique, because they're so friendly and so lovely. isn't you'd never feel excluded, you know, from the minute you come. If you come to the open days on your own, you know, believe you me, you won't be alone for long unless you want to be. There will be people straight away mingling with you, you know, and so never worry about turning up alone ever, you know. Yeah, so if you are sitting on the fence thinking I don't want to go because I don't want to go on my own, that's the perfect reason to go. Perfect reason to go. Honest Gov. Right, that's that one done. So we'll let the ink dry on that one. Next one, I think we're going to go with the tree. Why is that tree so far away? Hang on. Laundry. House. I've got two pictures on the go here, haven't I? Garden. See, if you're going to ink it, you've got to know what you're doing, because so there's that one there, and there's that one there. See, actually, I honestly think I've got two on the go here, because I could put the tree there. Okay, we're on it now. The tree goes there. Washing is next to the house, and there's just a gap there. We can fill that in, can't we? Right, so the next one is the tree. I thought so. Right, tree next. Now, the tree. Do you remember when we drew this? This is quite interesting. The drawing of the tree was quite interesting, wasn't it? See, if I show you it half done, then you'll get it. Yeah. So the tree is in clouds like that, like little canopies, isn't it? That's how we did it, and that's how we're going to sketch it, I think. Right? God, don't you wish you'd done some prep, Barbara? Yes, I do. It's all right, deadlines are coming. Okay, glasses on. So what we're going to do is the tree, and if you go upright, you'll get that wriggle, that kind of. If you hold the pen upright, there you are. So let's get in there. Let's make that happen. Cool. This looks good. It looks good up close anyway. I don't know what it looks like from where you are. It looks really great from here. Right, now let's have a look. Forget the fence. We'll do the fence afterwards. So my thoughts on how to do this, the bottom bit here. Well, I say that we start like that, and we do this with dots. Play it safe. So what I'm doing here, let me show you on this one, right? What I'm doing is this. Squiggle, dot, 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 squiggle, dot, 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 squiggle, dot, dot, dot. So I'm not actually creating a line. I'm just creating the illusion of a line. See? So that way it doesn't look there. You get what I mean? So it's going, I'm going squiggle, dot, 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 squiggle, dot, dot, dot. And then that way it won't be so obvious, because it's not, is it? It's loads of little leaves. It's not going to be a cloud. Okay, dot, 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 dot. Okay, and the top part of the dot, definitely we're going to dot up the top part. Okay, so it's even more so. Squiggle, dot, dot, dot. Let's just do that, because I'm definitely working on the sketchy side of things on this one. Right, then there's another little bit of branch. Can you see that? Am I the only one working on this, or have we got more friends joining in with the squiggle, dot, dot, dot here? Squiggle, dot, dot, dot. So tomorrow, while I'm doing this, we have our favourite guest in the building, and so at I think it's at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock, lovely Deborah Wheeler will be in. It's Friday already. Where did this week go? Wow. So Deb's going to be in the building at 10 o'clock. I think she's got a beautiful butterfly. I love the way she works. She's very, very systematic. This looks nice, doesn't it? She's a great card maker. She's like a card making machine. She's like Sarah Brennan, another one. They just never stop making beautiful cards, and I am in awe. So actually, Sarah's going to be running the make and takes at the open days this year because dear Tina Morris she's got too much going on. She can't make it, and so Sarah's stepping in, which is very good of her. And yeah, so on Friday, and Deb will be there as well, of course, and Janice Phillips. We're launching 2 new sets of stamps. Core, these are so good. She drew them herself, right? They are really good. She never ceases to amaze me, that young woman. You know, you think she's just a presenter on. She's so clever. Janice Phillips, very clever woman, and I mean, when I met her, she was on Ideal World. She was on the General Merch channel, General Merchandise, that means. And so she wasn't on the Craft channel. She was on the other side. When we were at Create and Craft, she was on the General Merch side, Ideal World, Ideal Shopping, or whatever it was called. And she was in charge of the IT section. So if you ever had a question about your phone or your iPad or your iPod or whatever else was going on in those days, you would join the end of the queue to ask Janice Phillips, how do you do this? And why is this happening? And what's this? And blah, blah, blah. She was brilliant at it. What she didn't know about Apple Macs and iPhones, you didn't need to know. So that was good. Yeah. And now she's a stamp designer and an artist. She's so good when you see her work. And she just has this different take. You know, she comes in with a completely fresh angle. It's lovely. So she's going to be launching, and we're making for her. She's going to be launching them at our open days, and she's going to be demonstrating them herself. She's fearless Fred, she is. So she's coming in to do that, which is just wonderful, really. And she'll be there on the Thursday early to help us set up, she said. I'll tell you what, though. She said to me this week, on Monday, because we speak most days, but she WhatsApped me and she said, is there any chance of me getting some of these stamps this week? So I thought, Christ, we haven't even had the artwork yet. We haven't even had the artwork yet, Janice. You might need to, you know. I said, we'll do our best, but I said, would it be okay if we got them to you for the open days? Because I thought that was a plan. And then she said, I thought this week was the open days. And I said, no, it's next week, love. And she went, crikey, I was planning my week around it. I was all set to drive down on Thursday. I don't know, a week early, love. Because I thought, how do you think we're going to get your stamps made if we haven't even finalised the artwork yet? Darling. She was a week adrift. So she's just a breath of fresh air. That's what I think about her. So that's cool. So she's coming down and she's going to be demonstrating her new stamps and launching them. And right, so now, doesn't that look so good? Let's come in a bit closer so you can actually see what it looks like. The other day, Dave said to me, you know, when you're going really close, why don't you use camera 3? I said, Dave, if I had a camera 3, I would use camera 3. Camera 3 is now camera 4 in Edenbridge. Moi, j'ai 2 cameras. So we might have to, we've got a bit of a computer and camera, not graveyard, but you know what I mean? What we don't use all gets piled into one room. So we might have to have a rummage. Perhaps we've got another camera sitting around somewhere that I could use as a number 3. He's funny sometimes. Why don't you use the number 3 camera anymore? Because I haven't got a number 3 camera. Right, now I'm going to dot. And dotting is going to give me the depth that I'm after. So hold the pen perpendicular. So this is where your number 3 camera will be really useful. When you dot like this, it gives you shade. You can do it with just do a little section so you'll see. You see, you can do this with dots, or you could do it with cross hatching. My only thing with the cross hatching in a pen, I think, I mean, what do I know? You know, self-taught, not much. But one thing I know is if you do that with a pen, there is a possibility that it will look a little bit more like, I don't know, it's a bit savage, if you know what I mean. The pen cross hatching might work if you were doing it on a roof, for example, or on a fence. But on a tree, I feel that dots work better. They just are more gentle. Do you believe me? Yeah. Yeah, so tomorrow we've got Deborah Wheeler, lovely Deb in the building. And then Monday, there's no SHAC, friends, because it's Bank Holiday Monday. And I'm going to be trying to sort out my pottery. And and somewhere in between now and then, I've got to sort out the TV. I've got TV shows on Tuesday. So no SHAC on Monday morning, guys. But what time are the TV shows? Let me just have a look. I wrote it down. My TV shows on Tuesday are at 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock. Gosh. Did I say that out loud? Hang on, I'll do it slowly. That means I won't get home till midnight. Yikes. Okay, 3 o'clock and 6 o'clock on Hobby Maker. Okay. Needs must. They're really nice to work with anyway. It's a nice place to work, actually. It's very laid back. And only go up there once a month, so I must be grateful for the opportunity. Okay. And then see down here, you could get some more shadow, like underneath the tree. Doesn't it look lovely? Okay. So what am I doing on the telly? I can't remember. Oh, I know. I'm doing landscapes and stamping. There you are. Landscapes and stamping. So what we did in the online workshop, that kind of thing. Yeah, because it's a different audience altogether. Absolutely a completely different audience. So this is me trying to cast my net a little wider. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. See, and then if you spread the dots out, I mean, this is very considered now where I'm putting the dots. Okay. As you put them out further, it kind of, it's less shaded, you see? So when you want it dark, just where your pencils are dark, just dot more. Stippling. I wonder how Maggie Crane is doing. Speaking of stippling, she hates stippling, didn't she? See, I was going to go and visit her in hospital. She's still in hospital, poor girl. And but the trouble is that the visiting times at the hospital, because she's only about half an hour away from the TV studios. But the problem is that the TV times that I've got are exactly, they fall right in the visiting hours, which is not ideal, really. Not ideal. Jane's just reminded me of something which I forgot, which is really important. Bank holiday, right? We've got a special offer. Double points. If you were to buy anything, if you spend £50, is it £50? I wrote it down as well. £50. Oh no. If you spend £50 between now and Monday, it must be until Monday because it's Bank Holiday Monday, midnight Monday, say, right? If you get double points on your purchase. So let's say you join the class that I was just talking about. You join the class, £30, double points. Get the dies, double points. I know, cool. And I'll tell you what we'll do, and I'll get Paul to do this. He will tut very loudly, but I'm going to ask him to do this. All the people, Paul, because he'll watch in the morning. Paul, when you watch this, right, all our friends who signed up for the course yesterday, make sure that they get double points as well. Yes? I'm sure I mentioned it. I'm sure we mentioned it yesterday in the course. I'm sure that was part of the deal. I've got so many things. You know, when air traffic control. Yeah. I need to shut down a few windows later on. Bank holiday double points promotion. The promotion starts at 6 p.m. tonight. Thank you, Jane. And runs until midnight Tuesday. Midnight Tuesday. Well, that's longer than I anticipated. Double points on all orders over £50. Points will be added after the promotion has finished. There we are. There we go. That'll do. Bargain. Yeah, so do join. Be well worth it. Right. Now, where was I? Tree job. There. This looks nice. I wonder what it will look like when we take the pencil work out, if we want to. But we don't have to, do we? Get a bit of dotting going on here. What do you think? Do you like it? I love it. It's like I was saying last week. We are so lucky that we could just do this stuff, you know? And I don't mean because we got the pens. I mean that we got the nous, that we've got the capacity. Right, so I am going to work along the fence, all along the fence line now, because this is easy. Should we do? We'll do the fence, and then we'll do some weeds, and then we'll join them together-ish. See, that we might have to put that over there. We might have to splice the tree in. Okay, right, here we go. So up and up and up and up. And if it's a bit wobbly, that's perfect. That's what we want, is a bit of a wobble, because it's a wonky white picket fence. And we'll just do the lines first, like that. Just get them in place. I'll go back and do a bit more. You find this relaxing? I do. I think it's good for you. Did I tell you I've got the nicest card? Just a lovely card out of nowhere. And it was from two friends, Gina and Lynn. It's in the kitchen. And it was just a thank you, just a personal thank you, to say that they'd recently joined in on the SHAC, and they just wanted to thank me for my effort and the time and energy. And I thought, what a lovely... I'm going to come in on that side. What a lovely thing to do, just to write a card. We are card writers, after all, aren't we? Hey? Don't you find sometimes we forget the art of communication? And we really, you know... Right, bit of weeds, I think. I'm going to make the weeds look similar to those weeds, though. So, but not quite as tall as the fence, okay? So we just have to flick a bit. We can always come in front, can't we? Just flick like that. A little bit around there. You can never get in there with the strimmer. Right. Just a few dashes. That'll do. Cut the dots. Bit of shading. It's quite random, isn't it? All very random. Yeah, I do think, you know, when you consider how important letter writing used to be back in the day, and how often do we write letters now or cards? Are we a dying breed, do you think? Our friends in Texas, Debbie and Jill, they write lovely letters, and they write, you know, regularly. I only ever seem to write emails, and they tend to be more business, which is a bit of a shame, really. But then every now and again, I get gripped by the need to write something affectionate or loving to a friend, you know? And then I write a card or a letter, you know? And it's not very often I do that, though, because I just don't have the time. But perhaps I ought to make the time. Right, we're on the washing line now. Woo! Maybe I just ought to make the time. Now, with the washing line, I'm going to be a bit more sketchy again with the clothes. Here we go. I've definitely changed the way the way I communicate with people, haven't you? I remember when I lived in the States and ringing home was so expensive. It was so expensive to call, you know, telephone. Now I can speak to Grace and Mark on FaceTime and it's free, and I can see them as well, you know. But in those days, it used to cost an absolute mint to ring my mum and dad and speak to them from when we lived in California. And so, one, we didn't talk very often. Well, very rarely, actually, because it really was way too expensive. And I think I've told you this before. I used to get a cassette, like a tape cassette, 90 minutes. And I used to have a little cassette recorder, and I would talk into it for hours. And I'd talk and chat to mum and dad, and I with the kids and Grace, you know, little baby Grace, and yeah, and that's how I communicated over the ocean, because it was just impossible to spend that kind of money on phone calls in those days. Yeah. My mum gave me one of the tapes recently, and it was quite something to hear, you know, making homemade Play-Doh, and little baby Grace was. And what's so strange, right, was, you know, now my voice, I'm 30 years older, but my voice at the time was, I'm going to put a little pattern on the dress. 30 years ago, my voice was a little bit higher, and I spoke a little bit posher, more poshly. I did. And so I'm going to go cross-hatching under this bit. I used to talk a little bit more posh. And it was interesting because I sounded the absolute, I thought it was Grace. I thought it was Grace on the cassette, but I thought, well, how can that be? She's the child. She's the little baby. Yeah. But it wasn't. It was me and my voice was higher, so it sounded more like Grace. Isn't that strange? Yeah. Yeah. So when she does her voice, her books, her Audible books that she's doing so well at, it sounds like me. It's the same pitch as me 30 years ago. Funny, isn't it, how we change? There, bit of shadow, bit of crossing. I like it. Bit of scribbling. Get a few lines, bit of creases, bit of shadow. Of course, relaxing now. So it took all that time. It took a Wayne marker, a tree, a bit of picket fence, and a washing line to calm me down. There you go. Look, doesn't it look nice? And I'm deliberately not erasing any of the pencils yet because I want to make sure that it's nice and dry before I go at it with a pen, you see. So that, now let's go for the I'm going to go for the picket fence again. It sure does calm you down, doesn't it? Something this simple. And so I think that this brings us quite nicely to the end of our W work. I do. I mean, we could sit around on the W here on this fence until Christmas, but I think we ought to keep going. What comes after W? U, V, W, X. Oh no. What can we draw that begins with X? Xylophone. That's the only one I know. X-ray. I don't think that'll be a very nice picture. What else we got? Excalibur. No, I don't know. Give us some clues. What can we draw that begins with X? Or, I mean, we could just bypass it if I remember drawing when I did the alphabet, the nursery rhyme alphabet, I got to X and couldn't find anything, and I had to write a little rhyme, a nursery rhyme, and it was about X marks the spot. I did an X marks the spot about two soldiers. It was about war, and yeah, I remember it. Any ideas? What can we have? X. Kisses. I think kisses, they're a big symbol, aren't they? Kisses. X-ray. Xmas. 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 That's a good one. Xmas. Christmas. Yeah, we could do Xmas. We could do Xanadu. Was ist das? Isn't that an irritating song? Kisses. Kisses. Well, it won't take long to do X, that's for certain, will it? And it won't exactly stretch us. So, okay. What's the next one then? Moving on. What's the next one? Y. Yacht. Oh, Barbara. Wrong. I have to do a bit of shade in there. You can't see it. What else we got? We've got X, Y, and Z. Come on, friends. X, Y, and Z. We better come up with something. X, Y, and Z. Give us some clues. X, we've got Xmas, and we've got kisses. So we could have Christmas kisses, couldn't we? That'll sort that out. For I've got a yacht. What else we got? Anything else? What's that say? Yes. Wrong glasses, I can't see. Yak. Yak. Flower. I used that in the floral thing. We've got a picture of well, okay. So the X, is that right? X is sorted. We'll get the floral. Right, you ready? I know. You hit the nail on the head there. We're going back to I'm going to have a little wander now over to the other side where my lovely postcard thing is. Is that it here? Is that the postcard thing? Oh no, where have I put my postcard thing? Do you know, I've got so much stuff in here. Where's my postcard? My poster. I've got a poster somewhere, a floral poster, and I know it's here somewhere. I haven't lost it, but I will look for it later. But if my memory serves me well, the letter X is a floral. Here it is, buried. Barbara. Yes, I knew I had to have done something with the X. We could always, what we could do is resort to the floral poster, kill three birds with one stone. Okay, kill 3 birds with one stone and do all 3 of those letters, X, Y, and Z, at the same time. Check it out. X, Y, and Z. Beautiful, right? Yarrow, Zenobia, and the one that you said, not Xanadu. Hang on. There it is. Xeranthemum. However you want to pronounce that. So why don't we say we're going to do those 3 letters, and that's that done then. Agreed? Good. That's that sorted. I love it when it works. Okay, so come on, let's just finish this. Project completion. I'm on a roll here. Yeah, so we've got trees done. Tree did well. And then the only thing, you've got some homework, of course, is your little shakalak. So you could do that. You could do that. And now I'm just putting in the struts, or whatever they're called, like this. I've got something I want you to listen to. And it is, and you may have heard it already. I listened to it yesterday on Radio 4 on the way into work. Okay. Oh, yeah. And I remember thinking, I must tell you about this. Right. So it was about 9 o'clock and it was on Radio 4. And it was an interview with a man called Philip Brown. Make a note. What am I doing here? Philip Brown. Quite an amazing story. Okay. And just trust me, it was so moving. Right. And then this one, where's the other end? Right. So I'm going to leave that bit because I want to splice that. The story was so brilliant. I sat in the car outside work for 10 minutes to listen to him. He had the most amazing voice. I mean, just crazy. And the best story. If you know the story, spoiler alert, don't say it, because you know somebody will really benefit from listening to Philip Brown's story. Honestly, treat yourself and go to Radio 4 about 9 o'clock yesterday. So that would have been Wednesday in the morning, 9 o'clock. And it was about Philip Brown. And just listen to the interview. And don't let anyone tell you what it was about. Because as he builds the story up, you know, in a nutshell, it's about how could you ever even dream, given your circumstances, that you would be living this life now, you know, but a really feel good, like, oh, I laughed, I cried, all the way from Crowborough to Edenbridge. It's a true story. And what's most fascinating is you probably know him. You probably know him, because I worked out that I knew him. That's the crazy thing. I knew him. And when he started, I thought, I know that voice. Yeah, say no more. As soon as this is over, do me a favour, do yourself a favour, and go and listen to that story. It's only half an hour, 30 minutes, and it's very, very, very heartwarming. It's not very often, I find. I'm so sick of the news and the radio, and and you just, in the end, I just listen to CDs. I listen to music because I can't cope with all the agony and the sadness, and I find it blows my mind what is happening in the world, and nobody's doing anything about it. Enough said. And so I listen to music. So I ventured into Radio 4 on the way to work, and I just caught the beginning of this, and I got kind of taken in. It was very, very engaging speaker. Lovely, lovely, lovely. And then when I got into the building, I looked him up, and he's very handsome as well. Very good looking. Yeah, you would do the same thing, because you hear the voice and you think, oh, what's he look like? He's about our age as well. Anyhow, I think that'll do, my friends. It's 8 o'clock, just about. Jane, thank you so much for your help. Now, don't forget, tomorrow it's Deborah Wheeler and Paul at 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock. Then we've got a double points special offer all over the weekend, so that if you want to go and support us and join the workshop, which isn't until the 25th of June, I'll be back from Paris by then, have loads to tell you. That's running right through till Tuesday. Double points on any £50 spend or more. Then on Tuesday, so no SHAC on Monday. Then on Tuesday, 10 and 2, Louise and Paul. 3 and 6, I'm up at Hobby Maker. Wednesday, Grace is coming home. When I go like that, I'm grateful to be on Hobby Maker, and I appreciate the opportunity. It's just a long way to go, long way to come back. And if I'm not until 6, it means I don't get out of the building until 7:38. I won't get home till about midnight. Wednesday, Grace is home, which is great. Thursday, open day setup. Friday, celebrations. Saturday, celebrations. So no SHAC on Thursday because it's a setup. Linda Williams is coming. I haven't seen her for ages. It'd be great to see her too. And Sam will be down from Newcastle, so that'll be brilliant. Jane, you're coming down. Brilliant. It's a real good get together. Sarah, Hazel Edwards. It's just lovely to see everybody. It'd be really nice to see everybody. Glynis, can't wait to see Glynis. And that's what I mean. You don't see these people for months, but friendships. It's not about how often you see them, is it? So that'll be Friday, Saturday, and then Sunday's the workshops. There we go. Ding dong. Thank you so much for joining me and supporting us. We do appreciate your business and your company and your companionship. And we'll see you. I'll see you in the SHAC on not next week at all, the Monday after. Okay. Lots of love. Bye-bye now.